You're watching Voiceover, How Did You Do It? At voiceoverpodcast.com, where we talk to seasoned, successful voice actors to find out how they did it. I'm your host, Ian Kleinfeld, and you can find me at voicebyian.com. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at voicebyian. Debra Sperling, how are you?
Hi, Ian. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so how did you do it? That's what we want to find out, right? So you live in near Manhattan, right?
Well, I'm from Queens, actually. I grew up in Queens, and then I actually went to high school in Manhattan at the High School of Performing Arts,
Oh, nice.
some
Uh-huh.
Fame School or LaGuardia, however
Uh-huh.
people uh, like define it right now. So yeah, so I did that, and then I actually lived in Buffalo for a while. I went to the University of Buffalo and got a BA in theater there, and then went to Case Western and got a master's in theater at Case
Wow.
Western, and then I studied in London for a while at the Royal Academy, and, yeah, then came back and was doing a bunch of Shakespeare when I first got back.
Wow. So you have no
Yeah.
training whatsoever. You just got into this like that. That's great. So let's start with, what's your website and what are you doing for your business now? And, I mean, what sort of uh bits do you do and everything? How are things now? Let's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm in my home studio. But actually, well, I'll get into that. But I've actually had my home studio for about 9 years.
Oh,
So
nice.
I've been working from my studio for about 9 years. So when the pandemic hit, I was all set up.
That's
Um,
nice.
but well, yeah. Although I do prefer doing my jobs and auditions in the city with engineers and casting directors and
Right.
but I mean, financially, it's been great that I've still been able to work and didn't have a stop in terms of work.
Right.
So that's been good. Website. My website is debrasperling.com.
Uh-huh.
It's my name, or debsperling.com also filters through to the
Nice.
same website. What else? What were you?
What are you doing in general with voiceover these days? And
Oh,
is there
well,
anything else that you do you want to talk about?
no, actually, I've been really fortunate, since I got back from graduate school, and I had an agent, and my this was quite some time ago when the business was very different, when you would tell people you do voiceovers and someone would say, "What's that?"
Uh-huh.
And celebrities weren't doing voiceovers at the time. So, at that time, it was a very small group of us that were really auditioning and working. Even agencies had much smaller
Mhm.
smaller voiceover departments. So when I started, uh, my agent said, "Oh, you have a really interesting voice. I'm gonna send you out on a voiceover. You'll slate your name." And I was like, "What's a slate?" So you'll just say your name and then you'll do the script. And so I auditioned, and I was fortunate enough to book the second thing that I auditioned
Oh
for.
my God, that's great.
And from then, for the past 26 years, I've made my living and health insurance and everything every single year 100% doing voiceovers for
Wow.
26 years. Yeah.
Very good.
So it really did, getting in at the right time in terms of for myself had a lot to do with having that break. When I work with my students, when I coach, I know a lot of them are on pay to play sites, and right now I also think there's a really wonderful opportunity for people coming up to showcase themselves, which is also
Mm.
something, because of the internet, that didn't exist. You really needed to be in New York when I started if you wanted to pursue commercial work, in Los Angeles if you wanted to pursue cartoons or animation. And now it's all different. I mean, look at you. You're in North Carolina. I mean, people can be anywhere in the country now and have a successful voiceover career, which is pretty wonderful if you think
Yeah.
about it. So, yeah, getting ahead of myself.
No, that's fine.
The things I do trailers. I was just doing a bunch of work on a trailer for a movie all my life. I do some spots for American Express,
Uh-huh.
Cascade, Ibrance, which is a pharmaceutical
Okay.
medication for breast cancer, and I do promos for USA Network, Discovery. I was the voice of the Oxygen Network and the voice of WeTV. Those
Oh,
were
so just
like steady
small local
gigs.
clients, really.
Yeah, I was the voice of Charmin for a while.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's been, I mean, I adore this, and I think there's a real craft to it, and I think a lot of what that I've just been thinking a lot about the things you told me we might be talking about,
Uh-huh.
and I think a lot of that craft has to do with, like I say to my students, being authentically yourself, because there's
Yeah,
only one you, there's only one me, and if I go into to an audition thinking I'm gonna book the job 100% authentically myself, that's awesome. You go in 100% authentically yourself, they're gonna hear something wonderful from both of us because there's gonna
right,
be real authenticity, and then they decide what it is they want. But I think if
right,
you don't have that piece of authenticity and you don't bring that forward, you're just a robot. Anybody
right.
can pick up a script and just read it well technically. I think there's an authenticity, and every person is different. So every voiceover artist is different and has something really special.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I hear from a lot of folks is it's the authenticity that really makes the difference.
Yeah.
So you do classes, you do coaching, you do
I did classes. I mean,
uh
I do can do classes online. I love working one-on-one. So
yeah.
I do a lot of coaching with people. So that is a true passion of mine. When I was getting my master's degree in theater at Case Western, I also taught the undergraduate acting classes at Case
Uh-huh.
Western. And I've missed teaching so much. So I have been coaching over the past 20 years, and it's really ramped up a lot since Skype and Zoom. Especially now, people have been reaching out to me all over the country, which is just fascinating.
Yeah.
It's great because I'm working with so many people from so many different places with all different types of opportunities, and those that just wasn't an option before, obviously.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? We're living in the future.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
this right here, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
I
it is.
remember 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that was just such a trip. They had a video phone, right? And like, "Oh my god, that's crazy."
I
Mm,
even remember on the episode of Friends when Jon Favreau was Monica's boyfriend. I don't know if you know this,
uh,
and he was very wealthy, and they were in his apartment, and he had this thing that you could see a picture when you were talking on the phone, and his face came up, and they freaked out, and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
like, how is that
No,
possible?"
it's amazing,
And
it's really incredible. Like, I've been able to take classes with, I've been taking classes and coaching with Anna Garduno,
okay.
and, I'm gonna take some with Roger Becker
Oh, I
as
love
well.
Roger.
Yeah,
I
so
love
I'm gonna
Roger.
start that in January.
Roger has cast me in some pretty wonderful jobs.
Oh, nice, nice.
He's
So,
amazing.
and then I've recorded my demo using Source Connect, so it's incredible the things we can do now that you couldn't do just a few years ago.
It's great, and it's
Yeah,
also keeping people in this time, I think, really keeping people, I'll venture to say actually saving people's lives without, exaggerating. I think that
yeah,
connection is really helping people, especially
yeah,
people that live alone, don't have their family with them. I think it's wonderful.
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the voiceover positivity hour we have here, right? Yes, okay. No, it's great. It is great. So that's what you're doing. What were you doing before voiceover? But that was acting. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
you
was
had
doing both at the same time. When I got pregnant with my daughter, voiceovers has been so wonderful for me. W w I When I got pregnant with my daughter, I wanted to be able to see her. So,
mhm,
before I got pregnant with my daughter, I was doing theater and Shakespeare in the evening, and all day long I was running around doing voiceovers.
mhm,
So that was the best life. But then I got pregnant, and then I had another best life, which is I get to be a mom. So if
mhm.
and voiceovers was so it is I'm gonna say is so lucrative for me that I was able to go to work, and my husband was a stay-at-home dad for 7 years, and I was able to support us doing
Nice.
voiceovers. So I stopped doing theater so that I could spend time with my daughter,
Right.
because there weren't home studios, so obviously I was out in the city running around. So, yeah, I mean, besides I went to school, and then I went to school, and then I went to school again, and then I did a children's theater tour out of
Uh-huh.
graduate school
Uh-huh.
before I came back to New York, and then I got back to New York, and yeah, within 2 months, I think that's when I booked that job, and then all of a sudden, I just started working, and I got an apartment in the city, and I just felt yeah, I'm just so grateful to this industry, I'm grateful to
Uh-huh.
the union, um, yeah, I've been really, really fortunate, and that's the other reason I coach. I love giving back, and it really is a thing that, like I said before, it really is every single person is different,
Yeah.
and it's about helping people bring out the you-ness of you, the themness of them, the Ian-ness of Ian, you know?
You're not the first person to say Ian-ness. That's funny.
Really? That's
Yes,
awesome.
it's actually been, far more often than you'd think.
That is awesome. Well, look at that shirt, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Go
very
you.
yes, so your advice is get into voiceover 26 years ago, get
No,
a master's
okay.
degree, do theater, luck out on your first audition, and then move to New York.
Okay, so like I said, no, and this is a great segue because
Yes,
all of that sounds very like, okay, so how is this gonna help me? I'm on voices.com and I haven't booked anything, and there's 700,000 people auditioning. What do I do? So, what I was saying before about I believe right now there's such an opportunity is that there really is a place that you can go out and you can look at these auditions,
mhm.
and before you would have you know how much money you would need if you didn't. I mean, I lived in New York. I came
Oh
from
my
New York.
god, it's
I
so
was
expensive.
I was living with my parents in Queens when I got back from graduate school. If my parents lived in Idaho, I would not be here right now because I would not have had the opportunity to ever audition for a voiceover.
Yeah,
So the fact that now everybody has that opportunity, a lot of the people that I work with are using pay to play sites
yeah,
to help them get booked work to put on their demo to
right,
then reach out and get a manager or get an agent. Before, there wasn't even an opportunity to do that. And the other thing with the way technology is you don't need to have book spots, actual work in order to make a fantastic demo because
right.
there's so many great engineers and so many great demo producers that are out there helping people do it.
Mhm.
But I think doing the pay to play sites besides having a wonderful opportunity to make a living and make money, it's also an opportunity to have work to then show to an agent if that's something that you want.
Mhm.
And not just agents in the place where you live. Like I have an agent in New York, I have one in Los Angeles, I have one in Chicago, and that wouldn't have been possible at any other
No.
time because
Yeah.
how would I? Oh, I'll do an audition and then I'll fly to Los Angeles for the audition
Right, right,
because you couldn't even do the audition.
right, right, right,
So
right.
I think there really are wonderful opportunities now that did not exist at all when I started. So
What advice would you give to, up and coming voice actors? Or what advice do you give, I guess?
I I I think that I think that people don't often believe that they are enough. That is what I
Mhm.
find when I coach. They don't believe that who they are is enough, and it's also a problem that all actors have.
Of
I mean, I
course.
think it's a universal problem that people have
Right.
actually, not to believe that what they have to bring is enough. And I think when you take a breath and you realize that you being enough and you come from this place of authenticity, something clicks within you. And I have the experience over and over again when I work with voice actors that they'll say, "Oh my god, and that was I don't get it, that was so easy." And I'm not saying that there isn't technique, and it is such a craft, and I don't believe that everybody can do it. But I think when you have that passion and you're able to take that breath and authentically realize that you're enough and
Mhm.
bring yourself to that copy on top with the direction. She's really, really happy, or we want it really conversational, but we want a lot of energy, or, we want it to be incredibly serious, but the energy comes down at the end. There's a lot of technical skills and there's so many things that you need to learn, but I don't think any of that means squat if you
Mhm.
don't trust that you're enough and that what you have to give
Mhm.
is different than anybody else. And when you trust that, first of all, I think it's more fun because you're not behind the microphone being nervous trying to be someone else, because
Right.
only you can be you. You're the only person that can be you.
That's
So
awesome.
it's the greatest gift in the world. And you're not competing against anybody for a job. You're just competing against yourself to be the most you-ness of you can be. That's how I look at it, and it seems to work because people I work with tend to then start booking more when they get to that place. Uh, I don't know. I think it's wonderful, and it sounds a little like psychotherapy, but it's
No,
it's
it's great.
it's really
That's
not. It's
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with psychotherapy either.
I,
So,
Here, here,
I
or
mean, hello,
medication.
we are actors. We need therapy.
Right, right. Well, it's Ian. It's funny you say that because I think a lot of
Yeah,
people start. I think being an actor
yeah.
obviously gives you a big advantage over a lot of other people because I do think there are people that I've gotten phone calls from people saying, "Hey, someone told me I have a really interesting voice and I want to start doing voiceovers." And they're accountants,
Hmm.
which is fine. Now and you know what? Some of them probably can go on and have an incredible career. However, I do believe that when you've gone through some training and you are an actor and you've learned to access those parts of yourself, once again, yourself. I can't access Ian, you know. So I'm not going up on stage trying to be Ian saying lines, which is why I don't understand why so many people try to imitate other
Mm-hmm.
people. And I'm not talking about the technical skills of
Right.
doing voiceovers. I'm talking about that's something different that you bring to a script that makes a producer or a casting director or an agent pick up their ear and go, "Whoa," after they've listened to 500 demos. There's something that goes, "Whoa." And that whoa factor is that person being authentic. Because the microphone doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. And it can hear desperation.
Uh-huh.
It can hear, "Oh my god, I need this job." It can hear insecurity. It picks up everything.
What someone said to me I don't know, last month or something. I don't even remember who said it, but they were talking about and this helped me tremendously, is that the microphone is like an ear, so when you're talking to it, you're talking this close to someone's ear. You don't need to yell.
I
You
say
don't
that to my students all the time. I say,
just
"Now put the person you're talking to 6 inches away from you."
Yeah, so that's, you don't need to be like, and now is Charmin,
I
you mean like,
I
sorry, I hope your
yeah.
ears are okay after that.
No, 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 that's great. I have my board set down.
But let me ask you this then. This is probably one of the most challenging things, at least for me, is how do you be authentic about, for example, let's pick on Charmin, why not? How do you be authentic about like a product that is,
Okay. Okay, 2 things. One, I just wanna say something when you said the ear and then bring me back to
yeah,
that because
okay.
my brain flies.
Well, go
Um,
back to the ear thing. We can come back to,
okay. W
authenticity.
When I coach, I do not keep the cameras on.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's Zoom, obviously in Source Connect, you can. I do a lot of my coaching over Source Connect, but the cameras are off because I don't want to see you. I can tell how far you are away from the microphone. I
Uh-huh.
can tell if you're screaming. I seeing you changes everything about you. If I
Right.
if I were to if I were to get on with you and I was gonna be right here in this place. So once
Yeah.
again, so you're saying that. So okay. So this is authentically me. It's me in a very different situation. Okay, but this is 100% authentically me.
Right.
So you ask something like this is actually bringing in both things you were talking about.
Right.
And then again, you can ask my husband if you want me to talk about, "Oh my god, how great is Charbon?" If I tell you 100% absolutely authentically, I got Baby Yoda for Christmas/Hanukkah, and if you would have heard me talking, it is the same exact way I would talk on my Charmin commercial.
So, yeah.
My enthusiasm or my mellow, sexuality or my, absolute, seriousness which is an actor, right? My
Right.
seriousness when I'm speaking about something, if I'm doing a spot, someone is very ill or trying to help someone and have something be really hopeful that it's going to be okay, like telling a voiceover artist, "You're enough."
Yeah.
Those things, all those things, my voice changes, but not once was I thinking about my voice.
Interesting.
I was not technically thinking about my voice. I was thinking about who I was talking to, why I was talking to them.
And that's one of the challenging things for us is like I'm a fairly new voice actor. I did it years ago for a little while, and then I started again about 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, that's great.
And so for me, I'm like, okay, don't focus on your voice, but you're focusing on not focusing on your voice, And so it's everything. And just to like be with the feelings, not be focused on your voice.
And
It's
and
so
it's not just the
challenging.
feelings, it's who you're talking to. When I
Right.
work with students, we do things, I tell them to always have Post-it notes with them because we'll put choices. There's certain choices that might work specifically for you that don't work for anyone else, and if you put those choices up around your studio, you could get stuck on an audition and something could be right there and like, "Oh, right," and you remember, "That brings me right to this place," or when I'm speaking to this person, it just pulls me in. When I speak to my grandmother, I'm speaking in a very different way than when I speak to my kid. Like, they're
Hmm.
just so and if you make strong enough choices, I believe you were never thinking about your voice. But okay, so but then there are really, really technical things, like I do
Right.
legal, right? So that is a very technical skill to say, like, both couples appearing on the show receive a complimentary three-night, all-night stay at the like, to do, member
Right.
FDIC, all of that. So that comes with the dexterity in your mouth and your tongue, doing all that red leather, yellow leather, good blood, bad blood, doing all those theater
Right.
exercises,
Yeah.
and then saying it like 50 times before you hit record,
Right.
which anybody has to do. We're human beings,
I have to tell you a funny story about that for a second. So one of the things that I got to do recently was to do a Bill Nye impersonation, right? So I can't say for who, but it was for
Okay,
they're going to hire actual Bill Nye later, right? But they just need me to fill in the meantime while they're
right,
fleshing out the copy and everything. So so they went through one and then they went through a revision and they wanted me to do this 22-second script in 15 seconds. And so I went and did it for them just to show them that it wasn't going to work. But I was
right,
talking like that all day.
right,
But
right,
as
right,
Bill
right.
Nye, it was like, it was really funny. So
Oh,
I
how
can't even do it
fun.
right now. But like Bill Nye, I feel like, here's Bill Nye doing a home experiment with meth, right? Yeah. So I did one for 22 seconds and then I did one for 20 and then I did one for 15 and sent it to the client. And the client, of course, is the ad agency, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I've been trying to tell them that this is not going to fit in 15 seconds." But it's like, "Well, I sent it anyway, so now they can see for themselves."
That's great. That's great. That's
So that
great.
was pretty fun.
That sounds like a fun day.
It was a fun day. Anyway, so go on. Um,
No, I don't I mean, yeah, I've been fl
authenticity, ears.
authenticity ears. Yeah, not coaching with the camera on. Trying to any
What
specific
advice?
questions?
What advice do you have for VAs just coming up that you haven't given already?
God, I really do keep going back to authenticity.
Okay.
Um, I know there's a I haven't had to have there you go. I'm gonna have a sip of water.
Uh,
1
I
second.
was going to ask the next question too, but I bet I know the answer to it as well.
Ask me, and then I'll answer both.
Well, I'll give you the answer first. The answer is authenticity, and the question was how do you what do you owe your success in voiceover to?
That's a couple of things.
Uh,
Okay. Um, I being uniquely yourself. I think a confidence, but I do think confidence comes with training and coaching and experience. Uh, Also, this is a business. It is my business. In 20 now we are living in our booths right now, but
Mhm.
I think it carries on to the booth. In 26 years, I've never been late to an audition. I've never been late to a booking. I've never been not professional. I've never left a booking without knowing the name of my engineer, my producer, my director, the copywriter. Uh, I thank everybody. I am indebted to my engineer. There's no attitude. I'm indebted to my engineers, to the casting
Absolutely.
directors. To just be invited to the party is I get emotional, is such a gift. Like, we are so fortunate just to be on voices.com, to to be able to do something you love. My job, when I leave in the morning, when I used to leave in the morning before
Yeah.
COVID, I would say I'm going to work. I gotta, I'm leaving, I'm going to work. My work is auditioning. Now, I'm fortunate that I most days have a booking, but my work is auditioning. And I love it. If you don't love the process, yes, you get paid when you do the booking, and that's amazing, but you should have just as much joy with every audition that you go to. So there's a joy, but there's a gratitude. I
Absolutely. I was
think
gonna say that, yeah.
in terms of why do I think I'm successful? I also think I have a very big range. That comes from training. It also comes from experience and my actual personality. When I did a thing with Frank, I think you were is that how we
Yeah.
met through the thing he did with promos?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I do a lot of promos, and that requires a very, very fast pace, technically, a lot of energy. And I think my personality when I first started doing promos, and probably now, lended itself to that.
Uh-huh.
But vocally, when I first started, it took me a while because I was very much up here always, all the time, and this is where my voice was. So I didn't get to
Right.
read for the pharmaceutical ads or things like that. And when I got comfortable enough with casting people, I would then, and now you don't have to worry about it because you can audition for anything you want on these sites, which is great. But before, if you didn't get an invitation or a
Right.
time slot, you didn't get to audition.
Right.
And if someone just hears you like this, then that's all you're gonna be auditioning for. So I would go in and read a script, and I would take it down here, and I would let a casting director hear that I also have this range and this part of my voice.
Right.
And then I started to get those opportunities, which brings me to demos. This is big advice, and I think any good demo producer will tell you this. Your demo, I believe, should be 1 minute or less, maybe 1 minute and 10 seconds, have at least 5 elements on it that show a range of what you can do. Like on my commercial demo, I think there are 5 things. On my promo demo, there might be more, but they all go up and down and up and down in terms of range, because
Mhm.
you wanna show, especially if you're trying to get an agent, you wanna show them, "Hey, I can make you money in all of this all of these
Mhm.
things."
Mhm.
And you're more versatile, so you're more hireable, and people maybe see more in you, and you have more opportunities. So, I
Mhm.
think that's incredibly important as well, is to have a range, be professional, be grateful, be on time. Time is money. Be
Oh, absolutely.
considerate.
Being on time is just respectful, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing when you're like, "Oh, I'll hanging out with your friends and, I'll be there around 8," but if you have a business appointment, you have a business appointment. And if
Right.
for whatever reason you are gonna be late, for God's sake, call, you know?
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right. And it's not an ego, it's not, this is my humanness. I get nervous sometimes when I talk to people about things like this, that I don't want to come off as egotistical.
uh-huh.
And I'm incredibly confident in what I do. And I think that every single person, like I said, that does this should have that kind of confidence, because my confidence is about me, which doesn't I don't think I'm better than any other person who is bringing out the authenticness of themselves. And it's that weird line, to
Right.
cross, where you, because I'm thinking back to this right now, because I'm human too, and
Yeah.
everything I said, and I was like, God, am I coming off like an arrogant ass
No,
because
not at
I'm
all. You're
saying all
coming
of
off
this?
as really gracious and, and enthusiastic and, pretty awesome, actually. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Ian, I'm so friggin' grateful. I am grateful, 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 which is another reason why I coach too, because it's just to be able to pass that on and be able to give people that sense
Right.
of joy and gratitude and success that I have been fortunate enough to have
Right.
is the most incredible feeling.
Yeah. It is. It's great. So you would say that you have gratitude?
I have I have so much gratitude. I'm
Oh,
overflowing with gratitude.
cool. Well, yeah. I'm
This is
well,
so fun.
it is nice talking to you. So we got that. We got the suggestions for new voice actors. Um, what about auditioning suggestions other than being authentic?
Oh, good. Okay. Uh, Listening to your casting director is very, very important. If we're talking real world, I can do both. If we're talking real world,
Mhm,
when before COVID and maybe after COVID, when people auditioned in person, there's a time to see your friends and yap and gossip and do all of that. When you get your script, it's a time to really be there with your script, which
mhm,
isn't to say be a jerk to people around you, but you're there to get the job. Everyone's there to get the job. So it's really about looking over your copy. Who are you talking to? What am I talking about? Why is this important? What choices am I going to make? Which is different than, oh, I think I should go up on this word and down on this word. Now, this is, like I said, this is how I work, and I can only. I think people that should coach or learn from as many people as they can, because what works for me will not work for every single person. So this is what I do.
mhm,
Um, I think there's this wonderful thing and not wonderful thing that happens now in terms of being at home.
mhm.
So you get a piece of copy, and first thing I'll say is always record your first take. Always make sure you hit record, even if you've never looked at the script before,
Mhm.
because something is going to come out. Because, right, every time we do it, we want it to sound like it's the first time we're saying this. You don't
Right.
want it to sound like something rehearsed. So something might come out authentically in your first reading of the
Mhm.
script. So don't read it a lot. For me, I'm talking 100% about when you're home. When you're home in your
Right.
own studio, who cares? You can erase it. You don't have to send it. I suggest always recording your first take.
Okay.
And then I suggest making different choices. And the other thing I will suggest is don't look at your script when you're listening back to your audition, and
Mhm.
close your eyes, because you listen differently. You listen differently when you're not reading your script, unless you're afraid that you messed up some words. You're
Right.
going to listen differently. And the other thing I would suggest is, if you have some time before you have to submit it, don't listen back right away. Give yourself an hour or two. And when you listen back, close your eyes and think of it as if you're listening to somebody else.
Mhm.
It also makes you listen in a very different way.
Mhm.
First of all, I don't think you critique yourself as much, and you can
Right.
also say, is this person pulling me in? Is this person making me wanna take off my headphones or shut my computer because they're so annoying? Is that right? So, I yeah. So I think give yourself a little time, listen back as if it's not you,
Right.
and if you hate everything you heard and it doesn't sound authentic, make some different choices. Maybe talk to someone, tell someone a secret, use a choice like that, or something different that maybe gets you out of your head. Or I always say to my students, I'm gonna shake you up. I'm gonna like send me some old auditions of yours, and then I'm gonna shake you up and
Nice.
just get out of your patterns.
I gotta tell you, everybody I talk to on the podcast, I wanna coach with them now. Like, so far, everybody. I've just been like, "Oh, I wanna take some class. I wanna do that. I wanna do that." It's been a really, talk about, gratitude for the opportunity, is I've been had the opportunity to talk to all these people in
Yeah,
depth about what they do and how they do it and why they do it and how they got there, and as the theme of the podcast is how did you do it?
right.
Now, and it's been pretty amazing to hear people's stories. So, you wanna go over the script?
Oh, yeah. So what I did what I did was I told you. So, background for people listening.
Mm,
I print out my scripts, and I told Ian that, but he said he's giving everyone them cold. So, but I had my husband print it out, and it's here, but I wanted to try, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read it off my phone. I know my eyes are gonna let me read it off my phone, so let me look. Um,
it's okay if you use the printed out
yeah, I'm
one.
gonna I'm gonna use the script. Okay, that's big, but ah, sorry.
That's
Am I
okay.
still there?
Yeah, you're still here. We got you.
Okay, I think I just
Yeah.
unplugged
Can
my
you still hear
computer.
me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
good.
Okay.
All right, give me a second.
Sure. I'll just do a little uh radio ID here for a second while
Oh,
you're
no, no,
reading.
it's short. It's really short.
Yeah.
Um, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna read it, and then I'm gonna do like 2 in a row or so.
Sounds good. Take as
Okay.
many as you want.
Let's make sure I know all the words. Always happy to pay. Okay. Uh, hey, this is Debra Sperling. Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We're always happy to pick you up, but we can help you get there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app today and get going. Lyft is a lot more than just a car. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We're always happy to pick you up, but we can help you get there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app today and get going. I would do one more.
Go for it.
Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We're always happy to pick you up, but we can help you get there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app today and get going.
Nice.
Okay,
Well,
so
you got the job.
so that's so I did I was like I don't want to do this because but I think that's a perfect, so that was a cold, that was very cold. But I think it's especially when you're if I were doing that here on my computer for an audition, it's like just the going through it and
Hmm.
the comfortableness, or and then messing up and not letting it throw you. If you know there's a clear edit or a thing to do right there, you can just stop and you can pick it up because you're in a zone or something. Now, if I was working on this after just doing that, I would probably make a bunch of different choices. But I wanted to do it cold so you could hear or see if someone hasn't really looked at a script yet, what they
Hmm.
might do with it. So,
Yeah. Do you want to read it again?
um
You're welcome to. I mean,
well, like, the
we're
thing is,
playing.
what would be so the question is, there was nothing here, from the casting director or from you saying usually it's like, "We want this very conversational," or, "We want this is a 15, and or, "This is a 30, so really stretch it out." So there's no so y you really have no idea in this situation what the person is looking for,
Right.
right?
That's on purpose.
Right, that's
Yeah.
on purpose. So maybe if there's a casting director here, they don't want all that smile.
Right.
I doubt it with a script like this, but so maybe if I was doing one that didn't have all that smile or energy, and it was really just, they wanted it more, informational, I
Right.
might give it a go like this. "Hey, this is Debra Sperling. Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We're always happy to pick you up. But we can get you there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app today and get going. Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared ride, but yeah, see? Okay.
Uh, no, that's fine. Part of the reason I want people to do it who are really experienced and do it cold is I want the people listening to understand that we all
Oh
make
my
little
god.
mess ups and we
Oh
all
my god,
stutter on
yeah.
words and we all, you know, have to do it a few
Absolute
times. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Which is also, by the way, in talking about auditions, if that happens to you in an audition, don't ever with a casting director, you
Yeah.
can like, that doesn't flub me, like, it shouldn't even phase you or flub you, but I get it, the fact, and good, I hope this was helpful to
Yeah.
hear that someone that does this every day, when they first pick up a script, or they're not automatically just going to be perfect on it or have the right choices, and there's certain words, like for myself, it's R's. Uh, I always am very cautious of where R's are in a script because it's something with with my mouth. I found over the years that I need to be very specific about R's. I worked with one student where it's S's, and we would go through scripts, and
Mm.
I'd say, okay, before you even start that, I want you to read that script 10 times as fast as you can. And then when she makes a choice and then starts reading, the S's sound perfect because it's
Oh,
just something
nice.
where your mouth actually just starts to know it and you don't have to. The last thing you want to do is be thinking about the S's while you're talking to your grandmother because you want to just, the words
Yeah.
are what you're using to get what you want. It's
Yeah.
not about going up or going down. And this one was, I mean, this one was fun. Like I would have more, probably more fun, like it's just,
We'll just have you do this another 15 times. Yeah.
well, that's the thing. You can, which
You
is
know,
why.
I totally want to do it like Cadillac, like lift, you just like
Oh,
really
I can do. Okay,
get
so
up to the mic and
it's
lift.
sexy.
It's a blah, blah, blah.
Okay, here's
Go
one.
for it.
Here's one. You can totally edit this whole thing out.
No, no, no. This is fun.
Hey, this is Debra Sperling. Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared ride, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We are always happy to pick you up, but we can help get you there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app and get going.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's perfect. That's the cut. That's the cut.
So, yeah. So there's, there's that authenticity thing. So, but oh my God, do you know how much fun I just had doing
Yes,
That's the thing. If you're not having fun, and I mean, yeah, that's probably not what they're looking for, but who knows?
I loved how you said, yes, sure, we can pick you up and more.
And more. Right, right, but I had, okay, so it's a perfect example. I had no idea how that was gonna come out of my
Yeah,
mouth. I just knew that I was trying to seduce the person I was talking to.
with
So,
lift.
because if I was busy thinking about the words in there, it would
Yeah.
have come out like you wouldn't have had as much fun listening to it,
Oh
I
my
know that
God, that
much.
was such a crack up.
And see, that's
Nice.
also the technical thing, like getting here, dropping my voice,
Right,
getting really, really close to the mic.
right,
Those are all technical things that I know from doing this so often.
right.
But so those things are all teachable. But that what just came out, that was the meanest of me.
It was authentic.
It was it was authentic.
You were authentically trying to seduce lift.
Oh my God, I don't
Very
want to hang up. This is so fun.
well, we could keep it no, this is really, really fun. Um, so we've covered most of everything. Let me give you some self-promotion time.
I uh Well, I mean, the thing
You do
is
the coaching.
I coach. I don't self-promote in terms of my work, and well, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess anyone could call me and I could refer them to any of my agents. All of the work I do is union. I mean, I also served on the board of the Screen Actors Guild. So,
No, nice.
um all the work I do is union except for promos, which we covered in that workshop. Promos have this weird non-jurisdictional, I don't want to call it a loophole, but they're not unionized completely.
Uh-huh.
So ABC, NBC, CBS, actually, when I did We TV and Oxygen, those were union rates, so I would get paid per spot, per tag, and things like that. But
Excuse me.
but most promos for other cable networks, you get paid for a half an hour, and as
Uh-huh.
many as you can do in a half hour. There's like a rate that way. And
Uh-huh.
trailers, ch- um, international trailers also don't fall under our union. Like, I just did the trailers for All My Life, and I got paid union for all of the domestic trailers, and the ones I did for Ireland and Australia and England, those get paid separately and different, not through the union because 'cause they're international. Uh, but so, yeah, so my agents really, and casting directors are the people that send me, all the stuff. So, and I'm learning so much from my students actually
Oh yeah,
about,
absolutely.
I mean, not just learning stuff in terms of great choices and their artistic work, but about the other side of the business that I am not fluent in, which is the self-promotion and reaching out to clients. I keep in touch with my clients and my producers, but everything is really done and negotiated through my agency. And it's not really that much negotiating because it's union rates. So
Hmm.
there's not really much. I've never had to personally ask for give a quote in anything. So that business aspect of that I'm learning so much about from my students. So in terms of
Um,
self-promotion, the only the only thing I would promote is that I love to coach. I think I'm an excellent coach, and I think that I think I coach from what I've heard from my students who I tell coach with as many people as you can and get a toolbox. Get a toolbox. You're going to pick up things from every person you work with. So don't
Absolutely.
just work with one person.
No.
So I think I might coach in a different way than a lot of people coach,
Yeah.
but I know, my sessions are definitely fun and definitely mix it up a little for people, shake them up a little.
Really? Your sessions would be fun? That's so
They're really
hard to
fun.
believe. Um, let me I was thinking of this while you're talking, and so they would go to, first of all, they go to debrasperling.com or Deb
DebraSperling.com.
Sterling,
Yeah, and it's
either or.
Debra, although and I haven't updated, I have to put my new spots on it, but, those are all on iSpot, which is also a thing people when they get their spots, you should put your spots on iSpot TV. If you have
Yes.
spots that are running nationally, tag yourself in those spots because there are people that will say, "Oh my gosh, I love that voice," and they will say, "Who is the voice on that voiceover?" And they will go to iSpot TV and plug in that commercial and find it, and there's a place where you can put your name as the voiceover or the
Oh,
on-camera actor. Yes. So
nice.
if you go to iSpot TV and put my name in, all my commercials will come up, and you should be able to everybody should tag themselves because then you also have even if you don't update your website all the time, you could tell people if you wanna see the stuff that I have running right now or the stuff I've done recently, go to iSpot TV and put my name in. So it's actually a pretty cool resource, even for people that don't even have a website put together yet.
Yeah. Okay. So they can go to your website and get coaching,
Yes.
and they can go to iSpot TV and get your commercials. So let me ask, I was thinking about this while you were talking is, so what advice do you have for people for working on the pay to plays? Like, as far as like, it's one thing to, I find that it would be easier to be authentic with a casting director, with someone, there's a give and take, but with the pay to plays, it's just like, okay, here you are, you know, is there any advice you have
You
for,
mean in terms of here you are, like, you're just behind your computer getting these
yeah,
scripts?
auditioning? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah, that's
be authentic, have gratitude, but what else?
yeah, that's like 95% of the
Yes.
students I work with are doing the pay to play sites.
Right, right,
Uh, it it the funny thing is when we're done coaching, I'm like, Go grab all the scripts you can right now from the place you're at and
right,
just
exactly, exactly.
audition." There's a saying, it's like Booker's book. So because it's a confidence, it's like I said, you hear desperation. When you start booking jobs, the people that are booking jobs usually are the ones that keep booking the jobs because they get behind the mic and they pick up the script and they feel they read it like they already have the job.
Right,
So that's one thing. Read your scripts like you already have the job. That's a and I mean that just as a confidence thing, which is
right,
goes back to you are enough. Exactly who you are enough. Believe it. It's so true. Uh, the choices, that's the thing that I that's the thing that I work on that helps people specifically working with grabbing auditions off pay to plays all day long. And it works for me too because the auditions that get sent in from agents, but you have such a number, a volume of auditions coming in. If you have a little, I should say sticky notes because you don't know what it is. If you have things put up in around your computer, on your walls that are choices that you've done, whether it be through coaching or working on your own one day, going, "Oh my gosh, I just did this choice where I was like telling someone I found out this secret that nobody else knew, and I wasn't able to tell anybody, and I can finally let them know. I can
mhm,
finally let them in on this." And then they'll read the script and they'll be like, "Oh my god, I wasn't even thinking about what I was saying," and then we'll play it back, and they'll listen as if it's not them, and they're like, "Oh my god, it sounds so different when the first time when I just read it and I was trying to emphasize this word and do this, and it just naturally was emphasized." And so they'll take that choice and they'll plop it up, and maybe that choice will work on every 5th script you have or every 20th script that you have. And I think eventually you start developing choices that you know that work for you. Some of them could be physical choices. I had a guy last week that he was trying to leans up against, his shoulder up against the back of his studio, and that did something to him that completely changed his read, and he was working with a choice, like, telling something with what was it? A high school friends that, yeah, I'm, uh, showing him that he's cool, like, he's cooler than him now. It was just this layer it was just a layer of something to help capture a direction that was on a script without just trying to play that coolness, you know?
Right.
So he put that high school guy there, and he leaned back, and his whole read changed. And he's like,
Nice.
"I'm gonna write that down." Because for him, leaning back, his mic was still right there, did something to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes shrugging your shoulders does
Yeah,
something
sometimes
to
I
you.
cross my arms, sometimes I put
Yep,
my arms above my head or like
yep,
this or,
yep. And I tell people all the time, smile when you cannot you don't have to act happy, but if you physically put the biggest smile on your face, you change. You
right.
physically change.
So quick, off the top of your head, 10 choices.
Oh, no, 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 I'm not giving those away.
Okay. If you want the choices, coach with Deborah.
But the thing is that my choices are first of all, my choices are very personal, and your choices will be very personal. A lot of when I'm coaching also, I say, "Okay, so I want you to pick someone that blah, 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 blah. I don't want you to tell me who it is. I don't want you to say their name out loud. I want them to be it's a total personal thing 100% for you." So, because that also keeps it very because once you say the name out loud or the choice out loud,
Mm,
then I'm
you're
you don't want
listening
me
for that,
listening
yeah.
for the choice. I'll hear it in the read. I'll hear it in what happens to you,
Well, let me
which
put
is
it this
so
way,
cool.
examples of things that or type for people who are new to this. What is a choice, for example?
M My best friend's mother has cancer, and I am running a hospital, and I'm comforting her that she's in the best place possible to get the best possible care. And that's a choice I would use when I'm reading or doing a job or reading something for Blue Cross Blue Shield or the hospitals of New Jersey or whatever it is. It would have this warmth and this encouragement of it's good. I know it sucks, but you're really in the right place. Like
Situations, people,
situations, people,
timing.
and I would read it because if I pick my best friend's mother, it does something different to me. Now that's not gonna work for but I know what gets me.
Right.
So, the things like that. Things
Nice.
things like that.
All right. Great. Um, anything else you want to say to people?
Oh, gosh, this is so fun.
This has been really, really fun. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Have fun. Yeah, the gratitude, but have fun. Like, honestly, I I I never have as much fun, don't tell my family because I love them, but as when I'm working or auditioning because doing things like that, like the way I switched this up to that sexy seducing thing made it really fun for me. Now
Yeah.
I can make choices that will make that's not the read they want, and like I said, this was a cold reading, but I could make choices that will make this so fun for anything I read. And when I say fun, I mean get my creative juices flowing. It doesn't mean happy. It doesn't mean it has to be happy. It could be comforting my best friend about her mother with cancer. But that's something active that I can get my juices flowing and I'm not ever sitting there thinking about how the words are coming out of my mouth
Hmm.
because then you hear someone thinking about how the words are coming out of their mouth, and that's what so many people are doing, and do you wanna stand out? Then just be you talking.
Hmm. No, that's great. Thank you very much, Deborah. Um, and so when you say on the play to plays, making the choices, and that's what differentiates people, this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I think so many people are picking up scripts and yeah, you have to analyze your script. You have to know who's hiring you. I mean, Lyft is hiring me. If I go over if I don't say the word Lyft and you don't hear it, or I'm very sad when I say the word Lyft, or I flub it and go Lyft, I'm not going to get the job because Lyft is hiring me, or the advertising agency that's representing Lyft is hiring me. So there are technical things that you learn or that are obvious, and I do think it's important to have coaches that help you analyze a script and know how to make sense of a script. But I think if that's all you have and you're not making choices that bring out your authentic self in that situation, then eh, sorry. I mean, no, because you
Yeah.
know what? Because there are people that have all those technical skills also, and it's not about, think about it. How many people are auditioning? It's not about how you are pronouncing the words or
Right.
what word is being stressed. It's not about, that's not what's going to get you the job. You have to have all those things, but what's going to get you the job is knowing the right way to bring out something different and unique that is you. And it's easier than you think. That's the that's the, that would be I would say my coaching pitch, but that's how I work. I
Right.
work on how do you get that thing out of you so you enjoy what you're doing more and you're booking more jobs.
It reminds me of that Indigo Girls song. The hardest to learn was the least
Oh
complicated,
my
you
God,
know?
I love that
Yeah, but it's so true,
song.
right? You know? So, but yeah. Well, thank you so much, Deb. I really have enjoyed this.
Oh my
And
gosh, I have too.
yeah. So
Can you
uh
tell I can my eyes are hurting from because my cheeks are pushing up from smiling so much. And I
well,
bet if we turned off the camera, you could hear it too.
okay, here we go. Shh. Can you hear her smiling, folks? Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
This has been great. I don't know what I'm I'm verklempt. I'm at a loss
I'm
for words.
verklempt too. Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
God.
You know what's really funny? You talk about technical stuff. That's
Yeah.
that's something that's, I don't do accents at all, but this, I used to talk like this.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm from New York originally, so to me, I can easily slip into that. And since I live in the South, I can slip into that.
okay.
And I lived in California, I can do a little bit of that. But
Right, right.
and
But I
then
don't really
yeah.
it's just this is I had it when I went to performing arts, you had to get rid of it or they would kick you out of school. So
Wow.
I would say coffee and mother and father, and I really talk like this. And
Yeah.
then it took years of in high school of my friends back at Queens thinking that I was trying to speak the Queen's English, and I was like, "No, I'm just trying to speak correctly." So thank God, because I
Yeah.
don't think I'd have a very lucrative voiceover career if I
Yeah.
talk like this. I'd probably get, like one role a year when they needed the person who
Oh,
talked like this.
do the lift thing in Queens. Do the lift thing in Queens.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Lyft is a lot more than just a car ride. Okay. Yeah, you heard me right. Shared rides, bikes, scooters, fancy cars, public transit, and more. Oh my gosh, so much more. And they're all available with your Lyft app. We're always happy to pick you up, but we can help you get there more ways than you thought. Download the Lyft app and get going. Like, totally get going.
Nice. I feel like I should get sponsorship from Lyft at this point. All right. Well, thank you so much
Thank you
again. It's
so
been a
much.
pleasure.
I have a lot of gratitude for you, so thank
And
you.
I have gratitude for you. You've been listening to Voiceover. How did you do it? At www.voiceoverpodcast.com with me, Ian Kleinfeld. You can watch the video to all our podcasts at voiceoverpodcast.com/YouTube. The background track is 1959 by my alter ego Max Rocket, and you can find that and other songs at www.maxrocketmusic.com. Remember to like, subscribe, write a review, and all that good stuff on whatever podcast streaming service you're listening to, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.